Hello all, I'm Sibsankar and your dear teammate from the Life to and Beyond Foundation. Today, it's wonderful to have you all here, and this month is very special, not only just from this discussion point of view, but also in terms of what we are going to discuss about. It's a month where, after 59 years, humans were back to the moon and are safely back to their home, that's Earth, this blue planet that we all belong to. So, this Artemis 2 have had a lot of, let's say, things going on in terms of some scientific works or like technological demonstration and all, but there is also a lot of human sides to it. Perhaps some of it you have come across on social media or news and other. But in today's talk, I have tried to put all of them together for you all in just a few minutes talk of around 15 20 minutes. And I hope you would like it. So, without further ado, let's start. Just to begin with, you know about Apollo missions and the Artemis missions, which is ongoing. The Apollo mission started in 1961 and extended till 1972. Total 22 missions happened under that program, both like uncrewed and crewed, and then some to the Earth's orbit and some to the moon and then moon landing and back. So all of this together made to 22 missions. Um, and then uh, November 16, 2022, the first uncrewed mission of Artemis 2 took place. For the Artemis program took place, and then the Artemis 2 of this program that took place in the beginning of this very month, that's April 2026, where humans finally orbited the moon and were safely back to Earth. So, this is a historic month, I must say, in the history of humanity. And all of this, like this launching of the Space Launch System, SLS, happened on day one. That's April 1st evening in the Eastern Daylight Time. But for Indian Standard Time, it would be early in the morning on 2nd of April. So it was the day one. So let's consider the time in EDT itself because the mission was from America. So day one was April 1st. Now, not to mention the wonderful four humans who represented all of us this mission to the moon orbit. And um, the first one being the first woman human history to, to go for a moon mission. That's astronaut Christina Koch. And then followed by her, like she has been the mission specialist, followed by her is the mission pilot, who is Victor Glover, Mr. Victor Glover, who became the first person from the American Black community to represent on a lunar mission. Alongside that, he's a fantastic astronaut and pilot. And then there's Reed Weissman, who is a mission commander, another American. So all of these three Americans represented in the Artemis 2 mission. But this mission was not just American, but also there was a Canadian representative to this astronaut crew, which was Jeremy Hansen, another wonderful astronaut of this particular four-member crew. So that's the Artemis 2 crew, and some of them will go to future Artemis missions as we are expecting. But amidst this wonderful crew, one thing that we should not forget is the part that in Apollo missions, um, 12 men landed on the moon. And in this one, there was a woman as well as a non-American. So in Apollo, all 12 men were Americans, but in Artemis, there was also a woman and person from different communities and from different nations. And but then both are a part of individual or their irrespective space races. Like in this one, the space race was between America and the then Soviet Union, today's Russia. And in this one, um, it's the space race not between America and Russia, but it is between America and China. One may not say it openly, but it is so. If you clearly see the steps that um, the China's Shanghai mission series are moving towards the moon, to the far side and other paths, and it is planning to send its humans or taikonauts, the Chinese astronauts, to the moon by 2030. And despite many budget cuts in science in America, why Artemis 2? Why the focus is towards Artemis program? It is not a coincidence or not, you can say, uh, altruistic uh, thing, or let's say something coming out of pure intentions, but purely out of, let's say, profit mindset of, let's say, the stakeholders in the American government who are directly now in race with China. So, who will go and set up a lunar base near to the lunar south pole is now the new race. So, we are, my dear friends, in the beginning era of a new space race that's between US and China. That's between US and its allies and China and its allies. So, let's see what happens in years to come. To follow, um, there was this sweet little soft toy about the Artemis 2 mission. You can see this spherical, cute little soft toy with the Earthrise cap, the same photo that was taken during the Apollo 8 mission. I'll show the photo in some time. And with a smiling face, and its like bottom part had the uh, like stamp or the footprint of the first astronaut or first human ever to land on the moon. That's Neil Armstrong of Apollo 11. So this particular software was first designed by an 8-year-old Lucas, an American boy, and it's wonderful that it served as a zero gravity indicator about the Artemis 2 integrity crew capsule, and so cute and so adorable moment that when the crew capsule separated from the other systems and finally was beyond the Earth's gravity. So the soft toy was left free and it started floating. And the crew said, Lucas, your eyes is floating. So it was a wonderful moment that this served the purpose of the mission, and became a very like cute human moment in this particular mission. Now, talking about human side of the mission, there was also 5.6 billion names that orbited the moon as a part of the Artemis 2. How? You may remember that there were various social media campaign and other ways that NASA was accepting names from various individuals across the globe, irrespective of being American or non-American, that one could send their name as a part of Send Your Name campaign of NASA Artemis 2, and they could send their name to moon orbit. And all of these names, 5.6 million names or 56 lakh names, were stored in a micro SD card and put into this cute little Rise soft toy, and it orbited the moon along with these four astronauts. So if you are one of them whose names flew to the moon orbit, you are one of those lucky humans who could make this, if not in person, at least in name. So be proud of yourself. Now, the first photo that came like of any celestial body from this particular mission was on day 3, that was April 3 in Eastern Daylight Time, EDT, was the Hello World photo. This photo of our blue marble, our planet, our home, Earth. If you see clearly, this photo is an inverted photo of planet Earth. This particular landmass that you can see is none other than the African subcontinent. And if I just zoom in a bit, you can see some green lines at the edges, right? If you see here as well, there are these green lines at the edges. Those are auroras, basically, that fine line of auroras that you can see at the edges. Now, After this, on day four, that's Christina Koch, mission specialist of the astronaut crew of the Artemis 2, looking back at our Earth during their journey towards the moon. So wonderful that a woman was first, for the first time, she was venturing to the lunar orbit, like on a moon mission. So it was historic in itself that we got this wonderful moment captured in camera and sent back to Earth as a part of the Earth archive or humanity's archive. Now, on day four, I think so. This is one of my favorite moments, and I think if you have followed how the Artemis 2 missions went and came back and all, I hope you may have liked this moment as well. Um, you know, April 5th was a Sunday, if I'm not wrong, and it was Easter Sunday. And CBS and many other reporters from different news agencies were basically interviewing these astronauts during their journey towards the moon. So, um, one of a CBS reporter, CBS, the news media, asked Victor Glover, the mission pilot, if he had some message for Earthlings, um, like for Easter. So Victor Glover was basically not prepared with any kind of like message beforehand. So he shared an impromptu message. But as this is, sometimes this impromptu or this made up, let's say, on spot sayings stays forever. I think the saying that he said, wishing the Earthlings for Easter will stay forever with all of the humanity, irrespective of cultures, irrespective of uh, borders, irrespective of beliefs in the supreme or in the divine. If I read through those words, Victor Glover says, "I don't have anything prepared. I'm glad you brought it up, though." I think these observances are important. He's talking about Easter Sunday. Yeah, Easter Sunday is that festival of the Christian community. Basically, that day is considered holy as Jesus resurrected from the death on that very day. So it says, you guys are talking to us because we are in a spaceship really far from Earth, but you are on a spaceship called Earth that was created to give us a place to live in the universe. Glover said. Maybe the distance we are from you makes you think what we are doing is special, but we are the same distance from you. And I am trying to tell you, just trust me, you are special. That's on the fourth day he says this. And then he goes on to further say, in all of this emptiness, this is a whole bunch of nothing. This thing we call the universe, you have this oasis, this beautiful place that we get to exist together, he said of Earth. I think as we go into Easter Sunday, thinking about all the cultures all around the world, whether you celebrate it or not, whether you believe in God or not, this is an opportunity for us to remember where we are, who we are, and that we are the same thing, and that we have got to get through this together. How wonderful of a message, how adorable message on Easter. I cannot think of a better message than this. He included not just like people those who celebrate Easter, but beyond borders is tried to get everyone together on the same page, be it believers, non-believers in the divine. And he kind of uh, like sent this wonderful message, and it was really heartwarming. Now, the historic picture, you have both of them on your screen. The Earthrise from the Apollo 8 um, mission, flyby mission. This is basically the Earth rising, uh, and this is the Earth set picture taken by Reid Weissman um and colleagues, um, like by the crew basically, but the photo itself was clicked by Christina Koch and the Earth set of Artemis 2 mission. You can see here on day 6 it was captured by Christina Koch, and there's an Earth set. Like basically, Earth is getting hit behind the moon, and here the Earth is rising from the moon, kind of, or like from behind the moon. So both are contradictory in its own self, but both are really, really beautiful. Both reminds us that how fragile we are as human beings on this blue dot, on this blue planet. Though moon is very near to us, that's why it still looks like a crescent or a gibbous Earth. But then, if we take Earth, as you know, the picture of the dot in the mote of dust, as the very saying of Carl Sagan in his pale blue dot goes, uh, that itself is another realization that we have to be responsible enough to live and let others live, right? And save this planet, the only home that we have known to date. So these two pictures are a remembrance of that. Now, on day six, basically, these astronaut crew on their integrated space capsule ventured to the far side of the moon, and for some time, the complete communication with the ground team stopped. And after some time, they they got connected, reconnected, and there were various new craters on far side of the moon, and the um, Artemis-2 crew had the pleasure to name them. It was Jeremy Hansen who was speaking on mic to the ground station team, and he, on behalf of all of the crew, named the first crater, this one, as you can see here, Integrity, which is basically the renaming of the space capsule on which these four astronauts ventured to the moon. It was first named Orion and later named Integrity to represent the integral spirit of all of these four working together. And then, in a very heartwarming as well as overwhelming moment, all the four astronauts also agreed to name this a second crater, which they discovered during this mission, as after the wife of Reed Wiseman, who was fighting through cancer and passed away a few years back before this mission. And this was, to me at least, was a very, very touching moment. And I think so, like, if you see the video, unfortunately, due to copyright issues, I cannot show it on this video. But then, um, after this naming, Reed Wiseman hugged Jeremy Hansen, all the four members of the crew hugged each other. So this is what the human side of the mission is. It's not just about like the achievements of this feat that they attain in the history of humanity, but also uh, how human they can be in the team as teammates, uh, being like concerned as well as caring for each other. So this moment, that's Carol, wife of Reed Wiseman, after whom this crater has been proposed to be named. And now all these two craters are in consideration by the International Astronomical Union for their final naming as proposed by the astronaut crew of Artemis 2. Now, that's the far side of the moon. You can see, I think so. There are few more fresh craters that needs to be named, but these two are the uh, craters with new names as proposed by the Artemis 2 crew. Now, uh, that's another image taken on day six, which is basically the sun eclipsed by the moon. As the photo is taken from the far side of the moon, of course, the sun will get eclipsed by the moon, and so wonderful that you can see the different stars in the background and the sun's light coming in like out of the edge on the edge of the moon, basically like just an eclipse. And day six, I think so, had a lot of things because that's the day they actually were on the far side of the moon. So Apollo 8 and Apollo 13 astronaut uh, Jim Lowell wake up message is another, I think so, historic and at the same time a legacy being passed down from the old to the new. That's the moment, I think so, that uh, can define um, the legacy being carried on by humans for lunar exploration and beyond. So he like Jim Lovell was an astronaut of the Apollo 8 and Apollo 13. and recorded a message before death in 2025. Late 2025 only he passed away. But before that, he recorded a message for the four astronauts of the astronaut crew of Artemis 2, and the message was basically a wake up call that these astronauts have daily morning, or like before their wake up after sleep and rest. So on day six, they had this wake up call. It was by Jim Lovell. It says, "Hello, Artemis 2. This is Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell." He says in the message, Jim Lovell, "Welcome to my old neighborhood. When Frank Borman and Bill Andrews and I orbited the moon on Apollo 8, we got humanity's first up close look at the moon and got a view of the home planet that inspired and united people around the world. I'm proud to pass that torch on to you and you swing around the moon and lay the groundwork for missions to Mars for the benefit of all. It is a historic day and I know how busy you will be. But don't forget to enjoy the view." So Reid and Victor and Christina and Jeremy and all the great teams are supporting you. Good luck and Godspeed for all of us, from all of us here on the good earth. So, how wonderful of a message from the older generation to the new. That means as if it was in destiny that he would record this message for the new generation lunar astronauts. So, one of the few alive who could record this message and befitting message for this lunar orbit mission crew, and that was really really heartwarming. To show this video for a moment, if you see how Ray Wiseman is basically focusing his camera as if like as if we are taking a video where we try to focus our camera in the beginning and then taking a photo. But I want to remind you, this is once in a lifetime opportunity for any human. Okay, that was so for Reed Wiseman. So he was basically capturing a view that we are getting today. So I'll just play the video for you all. Just a second. Yeah. So basically, you can see the Earth set and get hid behind the moon as they were shooting this video from the far side of the moon. So it's basically the crew's POV. Christina is saying that it's gone. So that's the human excitement that you can get to feel through these voices and through these videos, these photos, and all. That's the human side of the crew of the mission of Artemis 2. And the very famous photo, I must say, and not only famous photo, it basically changes the very perspective of masculinity and feminism for us as well. There's a mixed crew. You can see people, both male and female, as well as of different nationalities, of different cultures and communities coming together and hugging each other. So and Reed Wiseman, at the end of this mission, that's day seven, basically, when they were returning from the moon, says that they are friends now and will be forever. So, and they hug each other, and you can see that rise, a soft toy floating there in zero gravity. So, this activity in total came to be known as the Moon Joy moment. Okay, so like like men on earth are often portrayed as someone like you know that sigma attitude and someone like perfect or like they do not have emotions, and on the other hand women are portrayed as someone with too much emotions and all. But then here we see four humans, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of nationality, irrespective of let's say, cultures and community and whatever differences they might have. Okay, they come together, hug each other because they have understood one very, very important truth about humanity and its place in the universe, in on this earth, which is very, very fragile in the vastness of space. So now, when they are returning after this, like, life achievement of orbiting the moon, and there will be more, I hope, in days to come, uh, where some of them might also land on the moon and set up the lunar base and all. So, and they are like in their 50s or some in their 40s and all. Um, so they are hugging each other, making this moment memorable. And I don't think so. There is such a picture, such a emotional picture taken ever uh, in the history of space. So this is one of that changes the very, like, view towards what professionalism or what, let's say, humanism itself means to us. And on day 10, splashdown, they were back home safely. This dropped on the Pacific Ocean, and the astronauts were safely recovered by the Navy and other people. And that's the story of 10 days. It seems to me like these four guys and like these four members basically, of humanity, went to their maternal uncle's home for 10 days vacation and were back after this vacation. So that seems basically that to be like, we I still can't believe that at the beginning of this month they launched from here and are back. Okay. So uh, more to see, like more achievements to be attained by humanity, more feat to be attained by humanity. Let's hope for the best. So just to summarize, on day one, the liftoff happened from Florida, USA, here, and then it took this trajectory. On day two, they moved to high Earth orbit, and day three, they separated from the launcher, basically the crew capsule Orion, and later named Integrity, separated from the launcher, and then main engine fires to propel the capsule to the moon on day four. Basically, this is a period when this crew capsule um, escaped the Earth's gravity and Earth's pull. And then on day five, there was a lunar flyby. Basically, day 5 and 6 was the day when they were on the far side of the moon, and then finally returning on day seven, crew module separates and splash down on the Pacific Ocean. Um, the eight. It's not basically the days; it's basically 8 steps. But then again, the days, if you might say, here, on at step 5 or section 5, it's the day 6 and 7, and then um, day 6, 7 and 8 are the other days, like till day 10 altogether. So this 8 are not the days, but basically the sections. Please pardon me for that. But then these are the 8 levels in which the mission was executed all over. That's the recap in this infographic, wonderfully put forward by the European Space Agency. But this illustration or this infographic is not to scale, so please consider it just for the levels in which the mission was executed all over. And talking about the human side, something how can we forget and how can we ignore amidst all of this? Two pictures, you can see one on the left and one on the right. On one side, you can see a child with multiple dreams of becoming something or doing something in space or rocket science. And on the other side of the screen, you can see two kids, um, like impoverished and affected by war and other things. I think so. This is a clear representation of what's going on in today's world. On one side, there's Artemis-2 going to the moon, and on the other side, there's war between Russia, Ukraine. There's also war among this Iran, Israel, and US, and many other countries, and it is affecting the entire world, to be frank enough. And just like the Artemis-2 and exploration side of things are human, the other side, that is war and pollution and all. that are human sides equally, right? How can I ignore one good side for the bad, and how can I ignore the bad side for the good? I have to accept both the two human sides. But there's amidst all of these uncertainties, I think the Artemis 2 has provided some hope that beyond our planet we can be together. But yes, again, it is upon the administrations, the political administrations who run the world, who run the nations, who run the civilizations, who have to be more responsible enough, I believe. So um, that's one part. I would just like to conclude with a beautiful story. In 1970, basically around the end time of Apollo missions, you can understand, Dr. Ernest Tellinger from NASA received a letter from Sister Mary Gioconda. This is for sure the original photo of Dr. Ernest Tellinger, but then there's no original photo we can find of Sister Mary Gioconda. So I just used a photo, a copyright-free photo of a nun. So, Sister Mary Jakanda was a nun who worked among starving native children in Zambia, Africa. So, Sister Mary Jakanda asked in the letter why Dr. Stellinger wants to spend so much money towards exploration of space and so many children were starving on Earth. Basically, she was asking why invest in space or why invest in space why when there are already so much problems on Earth. I think so. That's very much similar to today's problems of warfare and other, right? So, touched by Sister Mary's concern and sincerity, Dr. Stallinger answered her letter. I'll just try to put forward the essence of what Dr. Stallinger replied in a very humble way and very caring way. Um, Dr. Stallinger tried to reply that, of course, it's a very big problem that children are starving and people are starving across the globe, even today. It is a global problem, and um, of course, more resources need to be supplied and put forward to that direction as well. But then, um, let's say if they would have put the Apollo missions budget and other missions budget, space mission budget to this purpose, good. But would that solve the problem altogether? Not at all. Right. But that's not the answer. That is the best part, I think, of what Dr. Stallinger mentioned. The answer also goes on to say that there are so much of budget being wasted on warfare and bloodshed. All isn't it wonderful that a major part of the budget is invested towards space exploration? Why go for bloodshed when we can think of doing a race to the moon? Who goes first? Like instead of like killing each other and like getting a competition in that manner, why not compete for like space missions and reduce bloodshed and add more value to humanity in that way? And his answer was not that like for this purpose we should not invest in starving children, uh, help and support, and instead we should invest in space missions. His answer was that we have to do both the things. But then, like, we cannot say that it is because of one that the other is affected. So I think it's very important in today's date as well that space has given us a lot of spin-offs and other technologies. And um, most importantly, it is important to understand that there are many more wasteful things on Earth that we do on a continuous basis. Okay, um, through corruption or warfare and many other things. Let's try to stop all of them and invest those monies both towards supporting humanity and also developing humanity towards a greater and explorative future where humans get to explore more and more. So both are important. With this message, I will leave you all on this note of human side of Artemis 2 mission. I hope you'll remember this hug and thank you all again. Take care and I'm open to any questions if any. Thank you.